I like your idea of...
Yeah.
I feel like we need like a desk and a mug of coffee.
So, Heath, how's it going?
Okay. Cool. So, I'm with my good friend Josh here today. Joshua Adams. Are you going by Joshua or Josh?
Both work.
Okay, cool. Quite an interesting guy, and I thought it would be great to talk to him about a couple things which I have on this list here. How you doing today, Josh?
Doing good.
Cool.
Just worked out. I feel good.
Good.
Saw some friends.
Right on.
Here with you.
Cool.
It's my first real interview, or maybe not, but it's fun to talk about yourself. So I'm excited to have that opportunity.
Right on. Cool. So I thought it would be really great to talk to you because you've just done like so much stuff in your life, and every time I hear a story about it, I'm just like, oh, that's so cool. I want to do that stuff. So I thought like maybe the first thing we could talk about is you've traveled a lot.
Yeah. My first trip was when I was 18. I graduated high school, which was a very trying experience. By the end of it, I just wanted to just quit and go on an adventure. But then I was like, Josh, finish high school. It's a good life choice.
Yeah.
So I did, and then, I had all this money saved up because I worked through high school and just saved it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the inspiration to go on an adventure. I'm like, ugh. So it came around time to start college, and I'm like, well, do work or nothing or what, or start college. So I'm like, well, I'll start college.
Yeah.
But after 3 weeks, I got this inspiration to go to Asia. And in my mind, I was like, you have to go, or I had this intuition that I had to be on a plane in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Or I would probably just stay and finish the degree,
Wow.
It's like you have to go and do it when you have the inspiration, or it just doesn't really happen. So I was. And I flew into Cambodia and traveled there for a month, and then kind of wanted to go to Tibet. And so made my way up Vietnam and got sick. And when I came out, I saw a friend that was like from Fairfield, our town of 10,000. He was just on the other side of the street in Hanoi.
Wow.
And we connected, and he was getting a motorcycle that day. So next day I got one, and we rode through northern Vietnam, which was amazing and beautiful. And we split up in about central Vietnam, and I went into Laos and Thailand, and then sold the bike and went to India and Nepal, and then was out of money, and my return flight for 6 months was up, so came back.
Wow.
Flew home.
A whirlwind tour. That's really cool.
It was one of the, up to that point, it was the most like free, empowered time of my life.
Yeah.
Because for 3.5 months I had this motorcycle, and I would ride into a city and not know anything about it, and just have like a tiny Lonely Planet map that was like this big of the whole country. And,
wow.
And so which it worked because there were only like 4 main highways in most of these places. And I would just like choose the next city and ride there, and then kind of like ride around, try and find out where you can stay and where you can eat, and realize that like living can be extremely simple. There's very little that you actually need for survival.
Oh, right.
Like it's nice to have food, but you can do without food for an extended period if necessary.
Yeah.
It's nice to have like a protected place to sleep.
Yeah.
But you can just like not sleep if you're in a really bad situation.
Yeah.
Like you can easily, or not easily, but you could just stay up all night.
Yeah.
If you had nowhere to stay and you just couldn't,
yeah,
you just stay up all night. Like it's nice to have a place to sleep, but like you don't have to have that. And I just realized that like my needs as like a body were very, they didn't have to be much at all. And I like eating regularly and sleeping in a safe, like protected,
Yeah.
comfortable bed. But when you don't have that, you can just like make do.
Huh. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Why did you think to go to Cambodia first? Like, what was the
Um,
inspiration behind where you traveled?
Well, I hadn't really traveled by myself before. I'd never traveled by myself before. And I had this feeling to go to Asia or Tibet. Like, someone mentioned Tibet, and I'm like, oh, Tibet. And I'm like, I'm not sure if I should go to Tibet first, but I need to go somewhere in Asia. And so I started researching different countries there a little bit. And part of me didn't want to really research, that just wanted to like kind of like just go and figure it out then. And so I got a feeling for Cambodia. And so went there.
Cool.
I only had 2 weeks, so it was like
Yeah.
I had to book the ticket pretty fast. And yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I always like hearing about people just like busting out and going other places.
Sometimes you have to. Like claim your life, you know?
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. More than anything, it was like up until that point, I didn't feel like I owned my own destiny. You know, it was like some vague parent, society, community thing was more in control of what I actually did than I was. And intellectually, I knew like I have choice and I do what I want.
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't really own that. And like the ceremony or the action of like claiming it, you know, was necessary for me.
That's really cool. Do you feel like you were a different person? Do you feel like you were running different energy when you got back?
Actually, when I got back, it was kind of very depressing. Like, I was this cool, like, empowered, awesome guy. I had a motorcycle. I just, like, whatever I wanted to do, I just did.
Yeah.
And then I got back and, you know, like, I'm starting to work and I'm just, like, not feeling free and, you know, like, a little bit of culture shock coming back to America and, like, I moved back in with my parents and it's, like, all of my old tapes started to play again and I'm like, oh, but I was this cool guy.
Yeah.
And actually something I mentioned that I wanted to share was one of the like fates in my life kind of came from that post trip down period. Right before the trip, like 2 days before the trip, this girl that I liked for like ever, you know, since like middle school, she but was like somehow untouchable, you know, like it wasn't whatever, but like she kissed me and then like my mind goes like exploding with like, oh, it's okay to like her and and so I just wanted to express this because I was leaving for 6 months and like part of me didn't want to come back ever.
Wow.
And so like I wanted to express this with her and when I did it just came out wrong, you know, like it wasn't what I imagined and I was completely attached to this like vision I had and like I gave her this romantic kiss and it just was bad. And I knew it was bad and it was kind of like this building feeling and I felt bad about it during the trip. And it wasn't a focus of the trip, but it was kind of like present in my awareness.
Yeah.
And then when I got back to Fairfield, I thought that, you know, like I'd really hurt her feelings. You know, I mean, it's like, it's a kiss. It was from like really innocent.
Yeah.
You know, like good intentions, like expression of like appreciation and love.
Yeah.
But I felt like it really offended her, and it actually did. But I felt like it really offended her, and that everyone knew. Especially all of the women like in my age range just knew and hated me.
Wow.
And so I started to get kind of extremely depressed.
Yeah.
You know, in the following like 3 months of when I was back, and like I didn't want to go outside because I was like afraid that I would see people and they would just hate me.
That's rough.
And just know.
Yeah.
And, finally I was able to share this with a few of my close friends, and they're like, dude, we kissed her and she didn't want to be kissed, sure, it's not good, but
yeah,
it's not this big deal, really. And it took me a while, but and there were a few key points that happened, and I started to transition out of it, but I was really, really depressed, I don't know what it was. It had to have been more than just that kiss thing, but some internal stuff that I was working through, really deep, dark night of the soul kind of depression, no physical energy, even just to walk to the bathroom. But I finally came out of it, and I just wanted to just hate that experience.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, because I knew that it had grown me, hard to put your finger on that type of growth, and I think you go through an experience and you've got to unpack it.
Yeah.
For a long time, maybe years, or maybe your whole life. Depends.
Yeah.
Unpack it consciously and subconsciously. So after I got through that experience, it left me with this faith that good will come of things.
Yeah.
And, whether it's things to me or to other people, gave me permission to forgive myself.
Yeah.
If I'd hurt somebody else, which is inevitable. I'm going to hurt people unintentionally, at the least, if not intentionally, at, weak moments or...
Yeah.
So that was a really powerful, gift for me, and to a large extent I've kind of internalized it and I don't think about it a lot, but it's really helped me that good comes from everything, and I can forgive myself if I hurt someone else. Also, when sometimes you hear somebody, or you hear about somebody and they're just doing bad, or you're talking with friends, oh, how's this person? They're
yeah. Oh God, yeah, that happens all the time.
They got into drugs, or they just broke up, or whatever, and I think it's good if there's a compassionate part where it's oh yeah, I feel for them or whatever. But then I found that after that there's this other part where it's you know what? They're doing this, and maybe it's unpleasant, probably it's unpleasant. But, that's theirs. I'm not able to judge what that experience will give them.
Yeah.
Because I have faith that they will grow from it. They'll get the bad things, but there'll also be good things.
Yeah.
And so that's been a big part of my life.
That's cool. That's really cool. I like hearing about that.
Have you had experiences like that where you have this really stressful or hard or trying time, and then you come out and inadvertently, maybe even against your will, you've grown from it?
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking earlier about anxiety attacks and stuff like that, and when I had that whole thing going on for a month, absolutely. I think almost one of the things that maybe helped me, it helped me reframe it afterwards, but I think it almost helped pull me out of the situation itself, was just feeling so shitty, but at the same time trying to be grateful and being I can find some gratitude for something, and I guess just ever since then it's been easier for me to find gratitude for stuff most of the time, and I never ever want to go through that again, but I was but I recognize that I'm glad that it changed me the way it did.
Yeah, some things you would never choose
to
experience them. It's Do I want some like happy loving lesson, or do I want to get the shit kicked out of me
exactly.
in whatever way?
Yeah.
Like always I would choose a happy lesson.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe we just need that sometimes, or that's all we can get, and so
yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is though. Sometimes. Better make the best of it.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like,
not.
it's so great to, like, I mean, like, I don't think I've had an experience like that. I think I've really only had one experience that was on, like, that tier of, like, just not fun.
Yeah.
But, like, and it sounds like this is kind of, like, some of the worst stuff you've gone through, but it's, like, so cool that you just, like, pulled that huge lesson out of that, right, rather than, you know, having to go through a number of things like that in order to get the lesson.
I mean, whether I want it to or not, it's like a part of me.
Yeah.
And it's there, you know, like that happened and it changed me, and damn it, I'm gonna get some good out of it. You know?
Get your money's worth.
Yeah. I paid the price. I better start collecting some of the little berries that fall off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Having to do with traveling, did you... I always also kind of think of you as, like, an entrepreneur. How is, like... Just, like, fill me in on all the cool, like, entrepreneurial shit that you've done, and...
Okay. Gladly.
Yeah.
Well, I'd always been interested in business, and, you know, like, had some failed business attempts. You know, in lower school, I was going to do a dehydrated food business called Dehydrated Delicacies. My aunt even purchased the first batch, which never actually happened.
Wow. So
I should still really send her $12 worth of dehydrated something. But first real business I did was after, or when I went to Asia, that first 6-month trip. I get there and immediately I'm struck with everything is cheaper here by a very large margin.
Yeah.
And so as I was traveling through, I was looking for the right product with the right contact, because I wasn't planning to stay there, so I would have to have someone to buy them for me and ship them. And I didn't find a really reliable person with the right product until India. And I was going through and I was like asking everybody. I flew into Bombay and I was in Bombay and I'm like asking at every store. And you know, like a lot of them were retail stores, so like what can you... They're going to try and retail it to you, but I'm like, I want to buy wholesale, and they're giving me these terrible prices. Like, I can buy that cheaper in America, you know, like, don't give me this.
Yeah.
And so finally, one day I was walking down the street, and I was in Delhi at this point, and I just asked everybody, and everyone's giving me these ridiculous retail prices for wholesale. And so this guy pulls me into his traveler office, and I'm like, there's the travel agent and his street guy, and the street guy was just incredibly good.
Huh.
Like, I didn't want to go in there, but he somehow, like, brought me in, and I sit down, this tiny little office. It's smaller than this room.
Wow.
And the staircase is cutting off, like, the top corner of this side of it. And so I'm like, hi. He's like, oh, hello, you know, like, I'm Rafiq. Give me a good handshake.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he says, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Well, you can't. I don't want to travel anywhere. He's like, oh, not even a tour to Kashmir and, you know, like these beautiful places? I'm like, no, I've got it covered. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, thank you, though. And he's like, okay, well, what about this or this? Like, no, I just want to leave.
Yeah.
And he's finally like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, well, I'm looking for shawls. Mm-hmm. He's like, Mushtaq. And so Mushtaq brings up these shawl samples, which are like, that must have been the only other thing in the room, you know?
Wow.
I mean, like, he had... So he showed them, and he's like, yeah, I used to have, you know, like a store in Nepal, and we sold shawls and all these other craft items, and, you know, like, this is the price, and it was a real price.
Wow.
First guy gave me a real price. And I'm like, okay,
Huh.
we can talk. And so I ended up spending, like, saw the place that produced them and all that stuff, and moved out of my guest house and like started living with him. And I stayed with him for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Got to know him really well, and brought back a bunch of products from him and some other things, and sat on them for a little while I was really depressed. And then really great friend Elia and we just kind of came together. I came out of my depression like quickly, and we moved in together, and we started selling. We tried selling all these goods that I had on the square at an art walk.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is like a nighttime market. Well, the whole town comes out, and we sold almost everything.
Wow.
And we're like, well, this has potential.
Yeah.
So we call him up and we're like, Rafiq, we need more. Send us more. And like a range of stuff.
Yeah.
Shawls and like carvings and this and this and this. So I send him the money, like $700 or something.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not a lot of money, but it's some money.
Yeah.
And I thought I had a good feeling for him. Like I lived with him for almost a month.
Yeah.
And send the money over, and he's gonna send the product, and like every day, come home, it's not here, not there, not there. And then it's one of the most exciting moments of my life, I think.
Yeah.
I come home, and there's this cardboard box that's just beat to shit. Like one of the corners is opened up and stuff is almost starting to spill out, and it's had a journey.
Yeah.
And I get in and I bring it in, and I just like, I could not help but jump around and yell. And that's like, I never do that. You probably never see me like that, but I just like yelled and jumped and it was amazing. So I called Ellie, and I'm like waiting for him to come over because I want to open this up.
Yeah.
We open it up. It's all this cool stuff. We keep on selling out like every month until like through Christmas, and every order we're doing bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And so we try doing that, and we keep on going for a couple years, and then we tried doing a kiosk in the Coralville Mall, which was just terrible, and like our mentor was like, don't do it. And we're like, no, we know what's best. We're gonna do it. And we basically lost all of our profit.
Oh,
and
God.
we'd gotten into debt to get into the kiosk, and it was just bad. It was another lesson.
Another like lesson that you paid up the ass for.
Oh yeah, that hurt. And we hadn't taken any money out of the business, which was another lesson that our mentor also told us before then. He's like, always make sure to take some out, because you'll be up, and sometimes you'll be down.
Yeah.
And when you're down, you can't take any money out.
Yeah.
So take some out when you're up.
Yeah.
Because might be your only chance.
Yeah.
And so we didn't even have the option to just quit and stop, because we had debt. We had to pay back, several investors. It wasn't a lot, but it was something.
Yeah.
And so we kind of put it on the back burner and didn't really, we kind of burnt ourselves out on it for for the most part. But we continued, and we paid off our investors, and it's kind of still continuing now. And learned some really cool lessons. First, like for that business, there's efficient way to sell and make money, and then there's the really hard work, like put in a lot and not get out that much profit. And we found that like in November and December, we would make about 80% of our revenue.
Oh.
November and December, 2 months, about 80% of the revenue for the year.
Wow.
And that was because it was, we were selling shawls. That was another thing. We brought our product down to just the things that were most profitable and were our favorite things.
Yeah.
I really like statues, but when Buddha comes with his hand broken off, and he's really heavy and expensive to ship, it's kind of not the best product. So we narrowed it down to shawls and silk scarves, and some wooden jewelry, because they were just really great profit margin.
Yeah.
But shawls and silk scarves, because they were light, they didn't get broken during shipping, and there weren't any sizes. You don't have to. We tried shirts, and it's like, oh, I love this shirt. Yeah, do you have it in medium? It's like, we sold out of the small inventory of mediums that we have. So that was interesting to learn the hard way. But so we were, we're trying to sell all year round, and it's like, why do that?
Yeah.
This is a business that works really well for 2 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time on the other 10 months. Maybe do October and November and December. And stop.
Wow.
Just put it to the side, and you can make some really good money doing that.
Yeah.
And so that was a cool thing to learn, that like some businesses are best seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
And don't waste your time on extra effort when it's not most productive. So that was one thing. Also that overhead and getting into debt can be really useful, but like overhead for sales, you can go to a show that costs $200 entrance fee, or you can go to a show that costs like $15 entrance fee.
Okay.
And the $300 one isn't necessarily any better. We have sold, like in some weekends, this little thing, like I'm sharing a booth with my dad that has his wood crafts, and I've got my shawls there, and it's like my dad and I are splitting the $30 entrance fee.
Yeah.
And it's kind of close before Christmas, and it's an established show, so people know to come to it. They know where it is. So like over $1,000 a day.
Whoa.
Just there, and it's not huge money, but it's like for a little business that you're doing, that is really worth your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's that was a big lesson.
What was the name of this company?
Himalayan Dreams.
Oh,
and it's
cool.
still going. We also started wholesaling to some stores in Fairfield and Iowa City.
Oh yeah.
And both wholesale and consignment, and you have to have a really special relationship to do consignment well.
What's consignment again?
Consignment is, I'm a wholesaler, I've got all this product, and I'll give it to you, the retailer, for free, but you're going to pay me more for it when it sells. So let's say, instead of buying it at wholesale of $10, you're going to sell it for $36 and give me half.
Okay.
So I make more, but I'm fronting you the product.
Yeah, okay.
So like instead of getting $10, I'm getting $18, and I'm saying, okay, maybe you wouldn't have bought any or as much.
Yeah.
So I'll front you the product, but I'm gonna get a little extra.
Yeah.
For it.
And people like to do that just because they don't want to like take the risk of carrying a product that might not sell. Or?
Sometimes the store doesn't have the money.
Oh, okay.
But the smart, really successful stores, they always buy it. We were like, if you want to take more, you can do it on consignment. And she was just like, no. No. How much is consignment? How much more? No. But it can be a good deal if you have a really great relationship.
Yeah.
And they're organized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So like that was your first like, was that your first like big like real business that you just like ran?
Yeah, I mean like I did woodworking with my dad, but that was never really my business. I was just kind of working, and I was involved in a little bit of the bid process and of course the construction of the kitchen cabinets and everything.
Okay.
But it wasn't really mine. So we did that and got a lot of different experiences on each side of it, like buying the product, selling the product, getting investors, making advertisements, hiring employees, doing that stuff.
Oh, yeah. I guess you would need employees for like the kiosk.
Yeah, we had, I don't even want to think about that.
Did you have some bad experiences with employees?
Yeah, one of them just stole $100 once.
What?
Yeah,
like what, out of the register?
Well, we had like the backup money in case the register ran out, so there's like 5s and 10s in there, some 20s, and then one day it wasn't there. And there were like a few people that had their ships before it was discovered, and it's just like obvious who did it. Turned out this girl, she had to, like, her boyfriend who just got out of prison needed some money for something, and And so, like, we had hired a person to manage our kiosk because she was the one next to ours, and and I realized that it's just not worth our time to be standing there all day.
Yeah.
So we have her, and she is like intense.
Yeah.
The kiosk manager, and she's been doing it for a long time. So we kind of let her handle it a little bit more than we did, but we were all there, and the girl that stole the money, she finally admits to it, and you know, she brings it back, and the three of us are there and gives it back. Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And she gave it back. And she's like, so, do I still have a job? and the other manager, she's just like, no. No, get out of here. That was funny.
Oh my god.
We also had to fire some people, and that was, like, surprisingly intense.
Really?
Yeah, like, when we first combined, she's like, okay, but, you know, like, I want you to fire my employee, because, I don't know, she didn't want to, which I don't blame her, because it sucks. And so Ellie and I are over there, and we take her to the side, and like, so it was like every cliche, you know, like,
yeah,
things are changing, and gonna have to let you go. And she's just like, she had this like shy embarrassment kind of moment, and then she got angry. She was like, is that the whole reason you brought me down here? And Ellie's like,
oh god.
she's like, well, can I go?
Yeah.
It's okay. She just was like,
oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't want to ever experience that. I'm sure I'll have to.
I don't know. Yeah. It makes you stronger.
Huh.
It's like such a confrontation.
Yeah.
Like, I reject you.
Oh man.
Or this other person rejects you.
Yeah.
And I know it.
Yeah. Wow, that could even be worse.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like your boyfriend breaks up with you.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And I'm somehow involved in this, and I know every detail. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I guess there were a couple other business things that I've done. I tried doing options.
Options.
There was a person in town. He was really excited. He had done a lot of option trading, and he had fun.
I don't want to miss this. Word. So options.
Yeah. So I was getting more involved in trading and learning, and the person that was teaching the class, he was like, you know, there's this person, he's got a fund that he's doing, and he's in Florida, and you should, you know, I think you've got potential. You could go down, and he's doing a seminar.
Oh, cool.
Learn more about it, and maybe get involved in his company. So I went down, and you know, I was like in it. I was doing it. I did everything. I got trained, and you know, like I took the Series 3 and passed it, and I was like ready to go, and kind of starting a branch office in Fairfield, which was more of just selling his fund, which was what it was. Mm-hmm. And he ended up failing, and hadn't, like, I was just starting and didn't have any clients yet, which I thank God for.
Oh, God.
But that gave me a chance to kind of look back on it and like, do I really want this? Is this me? And I guess I didn't, after having done it and tried it, I didn't feel like providing liquidity to the market was adding a lot of value to the world, and I didn't feel like it was, for me, my thing.
Yeah.
And so just moved on after that, which was unfortunate because the financial investment, you know, like in personal trading and training and all that, but I think you just gotta try things.
Yeah, definitely.
Just gotta try things, and that's really all you can do, like there's only so much you can think about it and research something. There gets to a point, like once you're starting to have diminishing energy from, like you have a new idea and you're like, whoa, I could do this.
Yeah.
Maybe this is going to be a big part of my life, or it's a business, or a trip, or whatever. And start to look in it and plan it and think about it and research it. And then there comes a point where you have to take some action. You have to do it. You have to like go on the trip or buy the ticket or make some type of real progress or just try the business or try selling or do something. And you have to do that to see if you actually like it, because there's so many things that I've like thought about so much and not really got around to doing it. And it's like I've thought through it so thoroughly.
Yeah.
Like I've gone through every like the way my life could go from like this decision, like if it's a business or something, like, oh, and I could be here, and I would be doing this, maybe I would move there, and then like, okay, start over from birth again, and like I could go this way and do all these things, and that's when it starts to lose energy for me. Like once I'm planning more than I can plan, if I don't have any real experiential basis or new type of input, I can't make any more progress. And progress is what feels good.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean with that. I've got a sign on my door that says "Ready, Fire, Aim."
Yeah.
And I feel like, isn't that like, doesn't Tony Robbins say that in like one video that's out there? And I feel like that's exactly what happens to me. Is I just like plan it to death, and I'm like, ugh, I just don't.
It's like you've already done it almost.
Yeah, almost with none of the benefits or the return.
Yeah. So like, people, like sometimes people are like, oh, I want to like travel to this place, and the only advice I can give them is just do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Try. Fail. Or try and fail, or try and succeed, or try and just learn. Like you do not know what it will be like to travel there or start that business until you do it.
Yeah.
And doing it isn't necessarily just diving in head first and, like committing fully, and it's a make or break situation. In fact, like that's probably not the best way to go into it. Maybe there's some things where you just have to. There's no middle ground, but for the most part there is a middle ground, and there's like things that you build up, and you've got to make connections and talk to people, and like there's definitely an inner like nurturing like time where you're like growing this like little intention and seed, and it's growing, and like eventually you're gonna have to put it in the sun and like share it with other people, or like express it or do it. And I know whenever I notice myself starting to like get into the over research phase of things, whether it's because I like I have some limitation of time or location or money or energy, which are real things, like maybe I just don't have the money to go to Asia tomorrow, or like over the summer, that's real. And so maybe I'll be in a position to just think about it for a while longer. But if I want to like try aquaponics and farming tilapia, then maybe this summer I should just buy some and make a little fish tank and try. Because I can think about that for the rest of my life and not do it. Easily. Like it's not hard to do that. But and it's not hard to do it either. To just maybe it's easier. And I mean, it depends on like you, but it can be easy and to just try. Like do it intelligently, but do, or else you'll stay right where you are. Yeah.
Shit, this guy right here. It's like a story of my life. I just need to dive in.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think there was like at least one other thing that I was interested in talking about.
On the same note, though, I think it's good to experiment with things, whether it's like social things or personal practices. Like I heard about polyphasic sleeping.
Yeah.
Which is when you sleep for like short periods during the day, and the really hardcore people do it for like 20 minutes, 6 times a day, or half an hour, 4 times a day being 24 hours.
Right.
And I wasn't like up for that completely, but I did 5 hours at night and a few naps during the day.
Wow.
Just to try it, like I heard about it, I'm like curious, like maybe I could have a ton of extra time, and like I could shrink that 5 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I was thinking about it a lot. I'd researched it. I read all these blogs. I've read like experiences, and I'm like, well, just have to try it.
Yeah.
So I did, and I started with like 5 hours at night and 3 half-hour naps during the day.
Oh my god.
And so I think I went to bed at like 11 or midnight and got up at 5 or 6. Or four or 5, and then I would do like a half an hour nap at 6, half-hour nap before or after lunch, and a half-hour nap at 6 again in the evening.
Wow.
And I just tried it, and I had good energy, and things were going, and I kept like a spreadsheet with, like how do I feel to do today, energy level, happiness, scale of 1 to 10, these other things. I had my roommate, he was taking pictures of my face to see if I was looking more tired, which I might have been a little bit. But by the end of 2 weeks, like I got sick, and I think it could have been related.
Huh.
And so I kind of thought maybe conventional sleeping while the sun is down is a good thing.
Yeah.
And but like I tried it.
Yeah.
And I had to try it, or I would still be thinking about it now.
Of the 2 people that I know of who have tried it, there's you and there's Steve Pavlina.
Okay.
So like,
did it work for him?
He did it for like months, but
wow.
He could probably like drink poison and not die. Like he has like insane amounts of like something. I don't know what's going on, but in my mind, there's you and there's him of who have done that. I just think that's fucking cool.
Yeah, and like you notice things in your life that you want to improve constantly. And maybe we like put it out of our mind, and we've been pushing it off and like trying not to see them, but like when they're there and they're really coming to you, maybe it's something that you need to just look at and confront or accept or analyze a little bit or feel, whatever. And maybe it requires an experiment. Maybe like you need to talk to people more or women more, or you want a relationship or whatever it is. And clearly what you're doing is not yielding what you want. Yeah. And you have to experiment and try it and say, I'm going to put my guts on the line. I'm going to try something that is very likely out of my comfort zone. Yeah. And it'll work or it won't. And just do it. Just do it. Because like there was this part of me that was really afraid, especially when I would do something that other people could, I thought they would judge me. This polyphasic, like they'll think it's like stupid or weird. But even the most conventional people that I would share this with, like I was sincerely interested and I was coming about it in a relatively rational manner. They were excited, like maybe even jealous a little bit that I was trying this thing. And there wasn't this like, oh, he was doing this like weird, stupid thing, you see people out on the dance floor, maybe it's been, no one's dancing, you're at a party or whatever, and then 2 people go out and they're dancing, or one person does, or like a group go out. Yeah. You aren't like, look at them dancing stupidly, like, I wouldn't dance like that looks ridiculous. You're like, oh, I wanted to dance. Right. A lot of the people that you see are just gonna feel excited, and like you will probably give them energy. Yeah. And you will inspire them. Like I read a great quote. You've probably heard it, and it went something like, "Our greatest fear is not to be small and weak. Our greatest fear is to be fully expressed and great."
Wow.
And it goes on and like yeah, and when you're great and you accept that and you just go for it, it gives permission to other people to be great too, and that is an amazing gift.
That is.
And it's going back into the system. Like, you're a part of this earth system, universe system, whatever it is, and like your community, your friends, your parents, all these people are connected to you, and if you make them feel good,
mm-hmm.
Like that's you're adding value to what you're a part of.
Yeah.
Like if I go home and my mom is like upset and angry, that's going to influence me.
Yeah.
But if maybe I've done something and it makes her feel good, and the next time I see her, she's happy to see me and she just loves me, that benefits me. Like we're all connected on some level, some way. Maybe it's energetically, which we can't see and I don't really know or get or am capable of understanding maybe, but like we share space and we influence each other,
mm-hmm.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
And so be great,
Yeah.
Go for your dreams, try them, and if you do things that will stretch you, you'll probably fail sometimes. But like, who knows? Maybe that'll give you growth that you need, Sometimes the purpose of doing something isn't to accomplish the goal that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
It's to see more of who you are.
Yeah.
Like I've set so many goals for myself, and I've failed many times. And sometimes I'm going for a goal and I'm going for it, and then I'm have a moment of self-reflection. I'm like, this isn't the major that I want in college, and I'm really attached to this major, and I've identified with it, and I've worked hard for it, and I'm not really enjoying the classes anymore, or whatever the thing is, and it's time for me to switch. Like, by pursuing this goal, I've learned about myself in a way that's shown me I don't want this goal.
Yeah.
Drop it.
Yeah.
It served its purpose, and who knows what purpose it'll have served. Maybe the first 2 years of your college, which is about something that could be radically different what you're switching into, will be relevant to other parts of your life, or even the career, or your kids, or it's unfathomable. Mm-hmm. Like, some things we can't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess maybe it's good to just have faith that they'll benefit us somehow, in some way, and maybe they were planned by a creator and maybe they weren't, but regardless, my life experiences have shown me, including especially the ones that have been most painful and unwelcome, they've shown me that good things come of everything. Bad things come of everything, like every stuff comes from stuff, and and good is part of that.
Yeah.
And I can really focus on that good and incorporate that into my life.
Yeah.
And with that intention and energy and endeavor, I can be better and more myself and change into what I want to be, or I'm supposed to be, or whatever.
Yeah.
And be, I think that's mostly just be happy.
Yeah.
And it's not a static thing.
Shit, man, I need just like a recording of that to like listen to every night before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah. I'm telling it to myself too. It's like, remember,
Yeah.
remember, this is what you believe.
Yeah.
Live it.
I really resonate with that, because right now, just like my only focus. It comes in many different forms, but it always comes back down to just like action over inaction, trying it, and just like, because inaction is not going to get me anything bad or good.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I just love talking with you because you always get me so pumped.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, somebody like just like energetic, positive ideas. I love it.
You bring it out of me, Heath.
Oh,
yeah.
thanks.
I love you. You are a great friend.
Thanks, dude. Love you too.
I'm glad that we had this moment.
Yeah,
share.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me interview you.
Yeah.
Cool.